Hello, Homeworks members, and welcome to your 2024 district meeting. We're excited to have you logged on with us tonight. I'm Casey Phelan, and I'll be your moderator for tonight's event. Before we begin, let's quickly cover our meeting protocol so you know how to participate this evening. If you've attended virtually with us before, you know the drill. You can interact with us during tonight's meeting by using the simple buttons that pop up on your Zoom webinar screen. The first button is Raise Hand. You'll use this button anytime you'd like to make a motion or second a motion tonight. Next up is the Chat button. You can type in the chat box if you'd like to make a comment, nominate yourself or another member for a position, or bring up any matters of business this evening. Third, the Q&A button is to be used if you have a question that you'd like to pose to our CEO, Chris O'Neill. Clicking on this button will bring up a box that allows you to type your question, which will then pass on to Mr. O'Neill for the Q&A session at the end of tonight's event. Our communications manager will be monitoring your comments and questions throughout the meeting tonight, and we will be sure to follow up with you afterwards if any of your questions are unable to be answered during the live event. Back to voting. When it's time to vote on a motion this evening, your voting options will pop up directly on your screen for you. Simply click on the button representing the way you would like to vote, and as the votes come in, the polling numbers will show up right there on the screen so everyone can see the results in real time. Moving on, do you have your district meeting scratch-off card ready for tonight? You should have received it in the mail as long as you registered for this meeting by May 1st. We hope you'll join in the fun during the meeting by scratching off the different circles on your card when we tell you to throughout the meeting to see if you have a winner. If you have a winning card at the end of the night, you'll simply mail it back to us with your name and service address filled in by May 31st, and we'll verify it and apply your prize. You could win 1, 3, or 6 months of free Homeworks Connect fiber internet service or an equivalent bill credit on your electric account, just for playing along. We'll be back at different points throughout the meeting to tell you when to scratch off the different circles on your card, so keep your card handy. Next, I want to remind you that you can follow along with some of the topics we discussed this evening in your digital district meeting booklet, which you should have received by email this afternoon. This helpful booklet can also be accessed at homeworks.org/D4booklet. And finally, as always, be sure to stay logged on until the end of this meeting so you don't miss out on the prize drawings that you were automatically entered into just by attending tonight. We have a lot of great items that we're excited to give away, but you must be present to win, so stay with us. All right, now that you've got down the basics, it's time to get started. Here to officially kick off tonight's meeting is your District 4 Director, Jake Borton. Good evening, Director Borton.
Good evening. Hello, District 4 members, and welcome to the 2024 live stream virtual district meetings. It's great to have so many of you logged on this evening. Isn't it nice to be part of a local rural electric cooperative where we have opportunities like this to come together and engage directly with our CEO and others who lead this unique organization? That's an important part of the co-op's difference. Homeworks is locally owned by you and me and our neighboring members all across the rural mid-Michigan service footprint. You and I aren't just customers of Homeworks, we're members and owners, and we all have a say in the direction of the cooperative. As your District 4 Director, you have elected me to represent your interest on the board. And I thank you for entrusting me with that responsibility. When my fellow directors and I make decisions, we do so with your needs in mind, not to satisfy the financial goals of some faraway investors, but being a small, locally owned electric cooperative doesn't mean Homeworks isn't doing big things on the state and even national level. Did you know that even partnerships with our power suppliers, Homeworks is a state leader in providing you with power that is well over 50% carbon free and 20% renewable. or that our CEO and his staff have played an important role in recent legislative advocacy efforts regarding electric grid reliability and rural broadband access, among other things. Of course, we all know that HomeWorks has been on the leading edge of providing quality broadband access to our members. Now, co-ops across the country are following suit and helping to fill the broadband gap for rural America. And perhaps most importantly for us, HomeWorks leads by example in providing us with power that is over 99.9% reliable and consistently outperforming our much larger neighboring investor-owned utilities in Michigan's Public Service Commission reliability and service standards. CEO Chris O'Neill will talk more about these outstanding achievements during his co-op update in just a bit. But first, we have our district brief business meeting to conduct this evening. Our district includes HomeWorks members who reside in Montcalm County, just under 3,500 of the co-op's 23,000 members receive service in our district. I am currently serving my first 3-year term as your District 4 director after being elected last year. In addition to electing our board representatives every 3 years, you also choose district officers at this meeting each May and approve delegates to represent our district at our annual meeting in August. Our current district officers include our district chair, Lisa Johnson of Lakeview, who will conduct a brief business meeting in just a few minutes. Our district secretary, Elaine Rossman, also of Lakeview. Our vice chair, Glenn Kibler, has stepped down, leaving that seat open to be filled this evening. Thank you, Lisa, Glenn, and Elaine, for your service to our district. And thanks again to all of you for joining us here this evening to participate in the democracy of our co-op. Having engaged member owners makes HomeWorks a strong cooperative. Now, please welcome our CEO, Chris O'Neill.
Thank you, Director Borton. District 4 members, welcome to your 2024 district meeting. I am Chris O'Neill, your co-op CEO. I want to echo Director Borton in saying that it is my great privilege and honor to serve you, and it is a responsibility that I do not take lightly. We are continually striving to develop new and innovative ways to serve you better, and you'll hear about some of those projects later tonight. I really appreciate that you've taken the time to join us tonight. It's your engagement and ownership that helps set co-ops like HomeWorks apart from other utilities. Now, I want to quickly highlight another thing that really sets co-ops apart, which is our community outreach. One of the most significant ways we try to reach out and help our local communities here at HomeWorks is through our Tri-County People Fund. Our People Fund has granted over $2.65 million to families and organizations throughout our service territory since 1993. As you know, our People Fund wouldn't be possible without those of you who voluntarily round up your monthly electric bill to the nearest dollar as part of our Operation Roundup. And I want to sincerely thank you, each and every one who do so. Our People Fund board of 7 volunteer directors work very hard to make sure each grant request is considered with care. Here in District 4, your People Fund director is Lisa Brown. Thank you, Lisa, for all the time and compassion you and your fellow board members put into this important program. I also want to take a minute to recognize our longtime District 6 People Fund Director, Dick Donnelly, who stepped down in March after 20 years of dedicated service to the board. I like to say that if there was a Mount Rushmore of HomeWorks folks, Dick's face would be on it. In addition to his work on the People Fund Board, he has volunteered as a district officer in his district for many years. He's just a heck of a guy and a great co-op supporter, and we're going to miss his insight and guidance on the People Fund Board. And speaking of Mount Rushmore of HomeWorks folks, I want to honor another person who would certainly be on that mountain, and that's our Electric Operations Manager, Chris Reed. I'm sure many of you know Chris. He is a tireless HomeWorks ambassador who embodies the co-op spirit as much as anyone I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Chris has announced that he will be retiring in August after 36 years with the co-op, and we are sure going to miss him. Thankfully, he's been able to pass along his valuable insights and co-op knowledge to the longtime Homeworks lineman who will be stepping into his role, Mr. Ryan Smith. Thank you, Chris, for everything you have given to the co-op over the past 3+ decades. All right, outside of the People Fund, we have a couple other community programs that help make a big difference locally. This year, we made a total of $15,000 in Touchstone Energy classroom technology grants to several local classrooms to support innovative projects to help students learn. We also awarded $2,500 Touchstone Energy college scholarships to 5 very deserving high school students in our service area. And in June, we'll be sending 4 outstanding students from our local communities to take part in the Electric Cooperative Youth Tour, an all-expenses-paid trip to Washington, D.C. to learn about important lessons on leadership, the co-op business model, and our great country's history. Another way we're able to impact our local communities this spring was through our matching grant program offered by our lender, CoBank. With CoBank's help, we were able to donate $7,000 to the Barryton Mobile Food Pantry, $7,000 to the Mecosta Area Senior Center, and $6,000 to the Chip Hills Orchestral Society to support their important work in our service area. Like you, we're truly invested in continuing to make rural mid-Michigan an even better place to live. Thank you for helping us make a difference in our communities year in and year out. Outside of the People Fund and our grant and youth programs, another way your co-op reaches out to local communities is through our safety program. As your electric utility, we know how important it is to provide information to both members and the public about how to stay safe around electricity and the other products we distribute. One way we do that is with our hotline demonstration trailer that we take around to local schools and events. If you're interested in talking to us about bringing our electric safety demo to your event, please give us a call. On the topic of safety, I do want to quickly touch on an unfortunate string of 14 incidents of gunshot damage to our regulators, transformers, and other electrical equipment that we have experienced over the past year, mostly in Eaton, Ionia, and Clinton counties. These incidents appear to be intentional, and we're working with the Michigan State Police and local law enforcement to investigate the situation. So far, these incidents have caused over $200,000 in damage to the electric system that you own. Of course, damage like this can cause safety and reliability issues as well, so we're very intent on putting an end to it as quickly and safely as possible. As such, we are offering a $10,000 reward to anyone who provides information that leads to the apprehension and conviction of the person or persons responsible for this damage. If you see or hear anything that could be of help in our investigation, you can report it anonymously through Crime Stoppers by calling 517-483-STOP or 517-483-7867. You can also report it to us or to the Michigan State Police. Another quick update I wanted to provide regarding both safety and reliability is that we are currently wrapping up our testing and piloting of our new electric outage text notification program. With this offering, you'll be able to receive text messages when your power is out to update you on the progress throughout the restoration process. We plan to fully launch this convenient program by June 1st, so watch for more information to come very soon. Something else I'm excited to announce is that we'll be hosting your district's park party on July 25th at the Curtis Park in Edmore again this year. We were overwhelmed by the response to these community events last summer, and we really enjoyed the opportunity to meet so many of you. We'll send out more details as the event nears, and we hope to see you there. Later in the summer, your annual meeting will be back at the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Mount Pleasant on Saturday, August 17th. If you opted to serve as an annual meeting delegate when you registered for this meeting, you'll receive your invitation in the mail in the coming months. All right, I'll be back with a brief pre-recorded operations update for you in a few minutes. First, you need to hold your annual business meeting. Your district chair, Lisa Johnson, will now come up to conduct this portion of tonight's proceedings. Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening. Thank you, Chris. I'm Lisa Johnson, and I have served as our district chair for the past several years. Homeworks Executive Assistant Michelle Hoon just informed me that we do have a quorum with 108 member households in attendance tonight. Thank you for taking the time to log on. Let's start our business meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now we'll have our secretary, Elaine Rossman, take care of our next agenda item.
Thank you, Lisa. The notice of meeting, proof of mailing, and 2023 minutes are on pages 4 and 5 of your district meeting booklet. I'm going to make a motion that we dispense with the reading of these and accept them as presented. Lisa?
Thank you, Elaine. Can I get a second to accept the notice of meeting, proof of mailing, and 2023 minutes as presented? Our moderator tells me we have a motion and a second to accept the notice of meeting, the proof of mailing, and the minutes from our last meeting as presented. Please vote on this motion using the polling buttons on your screen now. Thank you. Motion carried. When you registered to attend this meeting, you were asked if you wanted to be invited as a delegate to Homeworks annual meeting in August. Those of us who signed up to serve as 2024 annual meeting delegates are listed on page 7 of your district meeting booklet. I move that we dispense with the reading of the delegates and accept the list as presented. Can I get a second? It's been moved and seconded to approve the delegates as presented. Please vote now using the functions on your screen. Motion carried. Mr. O'Neill, please come forward for the election of the district officers.
Thank you, Lisa. First, let me remind you what your volunteer district officers do for your cooperative. The chair runs the annual membership meeting, as Lisa is doing here tonight. The vice chair steps in if the chair is not available. The secretary reads the notice of mailing and calls for approval of the minutes from the previous year's meeting, as Elaine did this evening. Every 3 years, the officers also serve as the nominating committee when your district's board seat comes up for election. That was their job last year. Your current district chair is Lisa Johnson. Is there a motion to nominate Lisa to serve another term? We have a motion. Is there a second? We do have a second to the nomination of Lisa Johnson. Are there any other nominations for district chair from the floor? If not, let's go ahead and vote on your district chair position. Thank you. Lisa Johnson has been elected as your chair. Your district vice chair is Glenn Keebler. Glenn has announced that he is stepping down after many years of dedicated service to your co-op. Thank you, Glenn, for everything you've done for Homeworks. During the registration process, Catherine Killinger of Lakeview expressed interest in running for vice chair. Is there a motion to nominate Catherine Killinger? We have a motion. Is there a second? Thank you. We have a motion and a second to nominate Catherine Killinger. Are there any other nominations from the floor? If not, let's go ahead and put your vice chair position to a vote now. Thank you. Catherine Killinger has been elected as your new vice chair. Your district secretary is Elaine Rossman. Is there a motion to nominate Elaine to serve another term? We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to nominate Elaine Rossman. Are there any other nominations for district secretary from the floor? If not, let's go ahead and put your secretary position to a vote now. Thank you. Elaine Rossman has been elected as your secretary. Thank you to all of our candidates. Now I'll turn it back over to Lisa.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Is there any other business to come before this district? If not, I will accept a motion to adjourn. We have a motion. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. We are adjourned. Thank you. Now I'll hand it over to our moderator, Casey Thalen.
Thank you, Lisa. And thank you to all of our district officers and the members who voted in our business meeting tonight. Now, we're going to move on to the co-op update portion of our meeting. But first, let's get your scratch-off tickets out to scratch off the first section of your card. Okay, scratch off circle number 1 only and see if it matches the winning symbol shown on the screen now, which is an electric pole. If it does, you're off to a great start. If not, don't worry. I'll be back later to reveal the next winning symbol. And if you match any section throughout the meeting this evening, your card is a winner. Now, CEO Chris O'Neill has pre-recorded an informative update for you. And at the conclusion of that briefing, Chris will be back up here with me live in person to answer your questions. Remember to use the Q&A box at any time during the video to enter any questions that you would like to pose to Chris. Now, sit back and enjoy Chris's co-op update.
Hello, Homeworks members. You've just finished up your business meeting, which is one of the reasons our bylaws call for us to hold these events each year. You and your neighbors own Homeworks Tri-County Electric Cooperative, and it's important that you have an opportunity to make your voice heard in our elections and other voting matters each year. Your co-op has been democratically run by the members since it was founded by a local group of farmers 87 years ago. And that still sets us apart from other types of utilities to this day. Beyond your business meeting, the reason I love our district meetings is that they give us a chance to give you real insight into the operation of your co-op. With other types of utilities, the relationship between the customer and the corporation is typically transactional in nature. You pay your bill each month, and they provide you with service in return. And it doesn't go very far beyond that, right? It's different here at Homeworks because being a member-owned co-op, we seek more of a partnership with you. Of course, we're here to provide you with reliable electricity, but we also strive to get to know you and your communities so that we can advocate for you and discover new ways that we can work to enhance the quality of your lives. That's how our service, like Tri-County Propane and Homeworks Connect Fiber Internet, came to be. Those offerings were born out of the real conversations with you about the gaps you felt we could help fill in your communities. We truly are here to solely serve you, so we value any opportunity to give you a look at your co-op and to hear back from you on the ways we can serve you better. So let's get started. First off, I want to take a minute to recognize the 109 employees who make everything we do at Homeworks possible. For instance, did you know that just 24 Homeworks linemen keep the lights on for our nearly 24,000 members across our service footprint? Or that just 19 member service reps take care of the needs of our electric, propane, and fiber internet and phone customers who call in or stop into our offices each day. Across every department, we hire talented, caring, and hardworking individuals, and they work incredibly efficiently to provide you with customer service that is beyond compare. As your CEO, I couldn't be more proud of the extraordinary team we have serving you. Outside of their work in the office and in the field, our employees are doing great things in your communities as well. We told you last year about our employee community engagement program that recognizes employees for the volunteer work they do. Thanks to the generosity of our workforce, that program continues to grow. Can you believe that last year our employees served a total of 4,814 volunteer hours throughout our service territory? Tri-County Propane Team Lead Trevor Wood was recognized as our 2023 Volunteer of the Year for serving an incredible 356 hours. And in total, 78 employees participated in the program. Even more than their talent on the job, I appreciate these employees for their genuine desire to make a positive impact on the lives of their neighbors in need. Cooperative principle number 7 is concern for community. And I'm proud to come to work every day with a team of people who truly embody that value. Another cooperative principle is member economic participation. Because you are a member owner of HomeWorks with a financial stake in the co-op, we strive to always provide you with an honest look at our operations and our financial status each year. You'll find a detailed financial report on pages 8 and 9 and 12 and 13 of your district meeting booklet. The co-op is continuing to grow slowly, with a net of 248 new active meters in 2023. Due to mild weather conditions in 2023, energy sales were down, with a 4% decrease in kilowatt-hour sales over 2022. While sales were down, our costs continued to rise, which, as you know, necessitated a rate increase in October, which I'll talk about more in just a minute. But with that increase and the successful long-term planning of our accounting team and our board, we're again able to keep our overall financial numbers strong, which is no small feat in these times. I'm proud to report that the financial status of both the cooperative and our subsidiary is healthy. I mentioned that you are a part owner of HomeWorks. Did you know that means you get a share of our profits? That's right. Being a co-op member means that when we have operating margins, that money gets allocated back to you as capital credits based on your share of electricity purchases during the year. That allocation of margins helps to make up your equity in the co-op. Our bylaws call for us to use those funds as needed as operating capital for the cooperative. Then, during years that our board deems the financial status of the co-op will allow it, we retire some of our capital credits and return them to you, typically as a credit on your bill. So far, we have returned well over $24 million in member equity to you and your neighbors. In fact, you may have noticed a bill credit on your electric bill this past December when our board authorized a $750,000 capital credit retirement. Members who purchased energy from HomeWorks in 1992 and or 2022 received the capital credit retirement. Capital credits are another obvious example of the co-op difference. Can you think of another service that you pay for where you receive equity and eventually cash back when the company turns a profit? It's not a common occurrence, that's for sure. And it's something we are proud to be able to provide to our members as a rural electric cooperative. We had another mild winter this year. So in March, our board decided to hold off until the fourth quarter of this year to determine if another capital credit retirement is viable based on our 2024 financials. Be sure to watch your Country Lines magazine for more info on that decision to come later this year. Okay, moving on to one of my favorite topics here at HomeWorks, electric reliability. I'm thrilled to report that your power was once again over 99.9% reliable in 2023. Our power consistently hits that standard in a large part because of the investment we have made to continually harden our electric system against wind and storms. Our right-of-way program really does play a pivotal role in keeping your lights on by preventing outages before they occur. Tree trimming and tree removal is one of the things that we receive the most questions about from our members. So we put together a quick video that explains why and how we keep our right of ways clear. I think you'll find it very informational. Let's take a look.
The right of way is basically a corridor that we like to keep trees clear of the power lines. Depending on the type of construction of the power line, depends on the width. It's anywhere from 30 to 40 feet wide. Well, our 6-year cycle is based on the average growth of most trees in the area. If we clear our right of way to full specs, that'll give us enough time between clearings to ensure that our linemen can safely and efficiently make any repairs or do any maintenance, as well as keeping vegetation from encroaching on the power lines.
The reason we trim the trees is for safety and reliability. Trees are the #1 cause of our power outages. Even with the 6-year cycle that we're on, they still are the #1 cause. It's beneficial to be proactive so we can obviously prevent these outages before they happen.
So when we schedule our right of ways to be cleared, we send out postcards to every member that lives on that circuit, letting them know, contractor A will be in your area to clear the right of way. And we require our contractors to have a planner stop at each location that needs work, review the specs with the member, get a plan together with the member. Communication is the key to making this whole thing work.
When I talk to the members and try to explain, why it is we need to cut the trees, certainly safety and reliability are the first things that come to mind. No one likes to have their power off. Certainly, most people don't like to have the trees cut either, but they can understand the reason why we need to do it. The members expect reliable power just because our power is 99.9% reliable. And over the course of the years, that's increased because of our right-of-way program. So we're very proud of that.
I think our right-of-way program is a little bit different than, some investor owns, with our members owning the cooperative. It's everybody takes their part and they're more willing to work with us. The co-op has done a really good job of building trust with their members to make sure we're doing the right thing we can with their money. The big picture is it's the member system. We're member owned. The member owns the power lines, the poles, the transformers, everything that we want to keep clear, keep up, and keep operating as flawless as we can. It benefits them the most because they do own the system.
We know from past experience that keeping the right of way cleared is the most efficient and effective way to keep the lights on.
I hope that video gave you a little bit of insight into why we pay so much attention to keeping our areas around the electric lines clear of vegetation. Now, there's no denying the fact that the cost of maintaining a reliable electric system, like most costs in the current environment, continue to rise. Everything from the expenses of vegetation management to contractor and material costs significantly increased in price throughout the past year. To cover the costs while continuing to provide you with the superior reliability and service you've come to expect from us, it was necessary for us to increase our rates last October. For most rate classes, this increase was split between the kilowatt hour charge and our availability charge, which is the fixed portion of our bill. The availability charge is designed to cover the cost of maintaining a distribution system to serve you before you ever turn on your light switch. For most of you, as residential members, the availability charge increased from $31 to $33 a month, and the per kilowatt hour charge increased from 12.68 cents to 13.37 cents. For the typical residential member using 835 kilowatt hours per month, this resulted in 5.3% increase in your monthly electric bill. If you've been a HomeWorks member for long, you know that we strive to keep any rate increases as minimal as possible. After the October adjustment, our rates are still in line with or lower than the neighboring investor-owned utility, even though we serve a rural territory with far less density. As your CEO, I can give you my word that just as we have over the past 87 years, we will remain committed to keeping our rates competitive and making sure that your electricity remains a great value for you now and into the future. Speaking of the future, let's talk about our state's energy future, which is undergoing a significant transformation with the late 2023 signing of a comprehensive set of bills by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The bills passed swiftly on party lines, with House and Senate Democrats comprising all of the support for the package bills. You may have heard that the first of these bills, Michigan's new 100% clean energy by 2040 target, stands among the most ambitious in the country. It will require all the state's electric utilities to employ a portfolio of 100% carbon-free resources by 2040, surpassing the rigor of even California's clean energy laws. Clean energy is largely defined as wind, solar, hydro, and nuclear. This legislation mandates utilities to procure 50% of their energy from renewables by 2030, escalating to 60% by 2035. A substantial leap considering the state currently stands at 16%. Starting in 2035, the renewable portfolio standard transitions to a clean energy standard requiring all utilities to obtain 100% of their energy from non-carbon emitting resources by 2040. Last fall, our power supplier, Wolverine Power Cooperative, made a monumental long-term commitment on behalf of Homeworks and other Michigan co-ops to purchase power from the Palisades nuclear power plant upon its historic restart. In their legislation, lawmakers recognize the Palisades plant as a vital reliability asset, allowing its output to count both towards renewable and clean energy targets as soon as it comes online. This is beneficial for Michigan Electric Cooperative members and underscores the significance of our Palisades power purchase agreement. Additionally, Homeworks and Michigan's other electric cooperatives already power members with over 50% carbon-free energy, placing us in a better position than many to meet the carbon-free requirements. Nevertheless, the bill overall is still a big lift for Michigan. We still have concerns regarding the pace of decarbonization and its impact on electric reliability and affordability. While we support investments in clean energy, we must also consider the operational realities. Constructing large-scale projects demands considerable time and financial resources, which makes the proposed timeline a challenge for the majority of Michigan's electric utilities. It's also estimated that utilities will need approximately 200,000 plus additional acres for wind and solar power generation to achieve the renewable energy targets in the legislation. We take legislative advocacy very seriously at Homeworks, and I have spoken in the state Congress on the need for a responsible transition that ensures our members and residents across the Midwest and the nation have the electric capacity to meet growing demands as we move toward a clean energy future. My staff and I will continue to engage our legislators and advocate on your behalf on this issue and other relevant matters affecting your communities. The second important bill of the new energy legislation mandates that electric co-op boards approve energy waste reduction plans and programs. Co-ops are now obligated under statute to submit a waste reduction plan to the Michigan Public Service Commission every 4 years. While this represents a more structured process compared to current co-op practices, through our legislative advocacy, we were able to achieve the authority of our local co-op boards to oversee these programs, which is a win for our members who enjoy the flexibility we have to customize our energy optimization programs to meet their needs. As you're probably aware, we're already ahead of the game here at Homeworks, because when the state mandate for energy optimization expired in 2021, we developed our own EO program to continue to meet the energy efficiency needs of our members. Our EO program offers cash rebates to our members who implement qualifying energy efficient measures at their home, farm, or business. In 2023, participating members earned over $210,000 in rebates and saved over 1.2 million kilowatt hours of energy. That's a win-win for our members and our carbon footprint. Anything from new light bulbs to upgraded appliances, HVAC systems, electric vehicles, and more qualify for this program. So I encourage you to visit homeworks.org/EO to learn what rebates you might be eligible to receive. While you're there, you might also want to take a look at our solar energy options. This is something a lot of members are asking about lately, And I want to let you know that we do offer a very robust renewable energy program. As a HomeWorks member, you can take part in our community solar offering, our distributed renewable energy option, or our buy all, sell all program, and more. These options offer you different levels of participation in producing solar energy to power your home or business and to sell power back to the electric grid as a whole. If you're interested in learning more about these offerings, give us a call and our energy advisor, Nick Simon, would be glad to talk to you. All right, next up, let's talk about HomeWorks Tri-County Propane. Can you believe this service is celebrating 25 years in business this year? In recognition of that significant milestone, we put together a video highlighting our propane team and the exceptional service they provided to our customers for the past 2.5 decades. I hope you enjoy it.
HomeWorks Tri-County Propane was founded in 1999 to bring propane service to our member customers in the rural area.
They partnered with another propane company and basically started with 2 customer service representatives and 2 service techs. And we've grown to over 4,300 customers and 13 counties.
We wanted to be a propane company that was different from others. So when we started the propane business, we actually treat our propane customers just like we do our electric members. We try to give them a service that we didn't have to pay extra fees, no hidden fees, the same price for everyone. So we wanted to be a little bit different and honest up front, a trustworthy company.
I think a lot of people switch to us because of reliability. We don't play into any of the pricing games. We don't charge any extra fees. When you get a delivery, you're paying for the delivery and tax, and that's it. One of the biggest things that we've done here that's helped our propane services has probably been our safety. I really think that we are probably the safest propane company out there. We're at the top in the state. I truly believe that.
So our customer service reps in the call center for our propane business have to be certified through the Propane Gas Association. So they know what safety standards have to be met and knows how to answer all the questions. If there's a gas leak, they can handle that and get that dispatched.
Our field personnel like to treat the customers just like the rest of the co-op, and they're part of the family. They're always willing to go above and beyond. Customers know they can count on us to provide safe, affordable, and reliable service all winter long.
So there you have it. Since 1999, our propane crews have done an exceptional job of delivering great value to customers in our area with dependable propane at competitive prices. At the same time, our experienced and highly trained propane customer service team has worked to provide superior service. We have grown over the years and now serve over 4,300 propane customers throughout our rural service territory. But what has remained is the way we provide propane with the same great safety, service, and reliability that you've come to expect from your co-op. If you don't have our propane service yet, we are offering a special district meeting deal to new customers for the month of May. So call us today and make the switch. Now I want to wrap up my update with some information on our rapidly growing HomeWorks Connect fiber internet and phone service. I know many of you are connected to our network, and I hope you're enjoying the high speeds, unlimited data, and 24/7 service we are able to provide. Have you also started to take advantage of our new TechShield and MyBundle service? We have made it available to all subscribers at no additional cost. TechShield offers you added internet security and storage, while MyBundle helps you learn what streaming TV options are best for you. If you'd like to learn more about these services, visit our website or give our fiber team a call. We finished up our HomeWorks Connect network build out to our entire membership last May. So I'm incredibly proud to say that every single HomeWorks member across our rural footprint now has access to gigabit broadband service. We're up to nearly 12,000 internet subscribers and over 1,000 phone subscribers. And we're beginning to expand our network to non-member areas, such as the city of Portland. We're almost done building out our fiber network there, and the take rate amongst the residents so far is exceeding expectations. Expanding our network like this allows us to continue to meet our mission to provide quality communication services to the unserved and underserved in rural mid-Michigan, while also adding value to our electric members who subscribe to Homeworks Connect, as they will eventually see equity returned as additional capital credits when this business turns profit. As you know, quality rural broadband access has become even more vital than ever before over the past few years, and it's only becoming more of a necessity in day-to-day life. We're proud to be answering the need for members and non-members alike across rural mid-Michigan. Similar to electricity, the cost of providing reliable broadband service has risen quite a bit since we began building our network in 2018. We do not play pricing games with our Homeworks Connect packages, and we have not increased our rates at all since the product was first launched. In fact, we actually doubled the speeds of our packages at no cost in 2021 to provide even more value to our subscribers. In the wake of the network outage we experienced earlier this year due to a data center failure, we've also invested significant resources into an enhanced broadband redundancy plan that has made our fiber service even more reliable. Currently, we're looking at how we can restructure our internet packages to offer greater subscriber value while adequately covering our rising costs. We'll provide more information on that to our subscribers later this year. If you haven't signed up for Homeworks Connect yet, you can by visiting join.homeworksconnect.org to check out everything we have to offer. So that was a quick look at the past year of your co-op. As you can see, we've been busy, and it's been a productive year of exciting growth, change, and opportunity. Throughout the rest of the year and beyond, I can promise you that we will always maintain our commitment to providing you with safe, reliable, and affordable utility services that enhance your quality of life.
Thank you for providing that great update, Chris. I hope you all enjoyed hearing about some of the things that we've been up to over the past year here at your co-op. Chris is back here with me live to answer some of your questions before we wrap up the night with the most exciting part, our prize giveaways. But first, let's reveal the next symbol on your scratch-off cards. Scratch off circle number 2, and if it matches the propane cylinder symbol shown now, you're in luck. Whether or not you have any matches yet, keep this card handy because we'll reveal the final winning symbol after Q&A. If you have a question that you'd like Chris to answer to, oh my gosh, our CEO to try to address tonight, please type it in using the Q&A button. We received a few questions from attendees prior to tonight's meeting during the registration process, so Chris will answer those now. All right, our first question is from Kevin in Riverdale.
Okay.
He asked us if you could tell us what the regulatory costs are to produce a kilowatt hour.
So I think this is a fantastic question, and we spent some time trying to chase this down. And what we realized is the amount of regulatory agencies that we interface with both at the distribution level and at the generation and transmission level is pretty significant. So getting an exact to the penny or to the mill value on that specific question is a little bit difficult. What I will tell you is this, our costs at the distribution level have significantly decreased since the passing of the Member Regulation Act in 2008. Essentially, what that did is it allowed the co-op boards to be able to do certain things instead of the Michigan Public Service Commission, and it alleviated a lot of the time that it took to get things done for the co-op. It also alleviated a lot of the legal expense that were passed along to members through electric rates. So that's the best way I can answer that one without really putting significant time into trying to chase that down.
Thank you for clarifying. Next question is from Kathy in Stanton. She says that she had a tree that we cut down as part of a right-of-way clearing and it was left on her property. She would like to know if it's going to be cleaned up. Can we talk a little bit about the cleanup process with our vegetation management program?
Absolutely. So how we handle cleanup of a tree that is encroaching on or in the right of way is that anything that's what I would say is 4 inches in diameter or less gets chipped. Anything greater than that gets left, including the stump, for the individual property owner to dispose of the way that they see fit. That is member private property, not the co-ops. And it's been the historical practice and the policy of the co-op that members decided that they don't want to subsidize each other's stump removals and each other's wood removal. And so rather than packaging all that cost into electric rates, it's decided that members will take care of those trees and the stumps on an individual basis.
All right, here's a sort of related question to that. Gerald and Edmore asked if we could tell him how wide a right-of-way space is that he should avoid for planting.
Yep. Depending on the vintage of the right-of-way, it's 50 feet. So typically 25 feet either side of the distribution line. We maintain 30 feet. So we don't go to the whole 50 unless we have a danger tree, we'll term it, or a dead tree leaning towards the line. So 15 feet either side of the line is where we'll clear and maintain on our regular cycle. If you want to know what to plant and where to plant it, depending on species of the vegetation, we have a really neat video or info graphic on our website. So if you go to homeworks.org/reliability, you'll see based on the mature tree height, how far to plant it from the power line to avoid it being trimmed or removed through our right-of-way program.
All right. While registering, Michelle in Lakeview asked if we could talk about streaming TV options for our Homeworks Connect subscribers. You did mention a little bit in your update, our My Bundle solution, but I'm wondering if maybe we could talk a little bit more about My Bundle.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that we've been asked about since the launch of our broadband product, our fiber to the home product back in 2018, is how can members leverage that connection to get entertainment through it, and you know, what are the best streaming services where they can get all the channels that they watch. And so we've been looking for a solution to answer that and to sort of help each individual member walk through that issue themselves so that they can get the best quality of service and they can reduce, in many cases, especially if they're using satellite TV or cable television, they can reduce their monthly household expense for those services. And so we partnered with My Bundle. If you go to homeworks.org/MyBundle, you'll see that it's basically a program with a series of prompts that ask you about your preferences. So whether it be channels or what you're currently streaming now, it'll walk you through that. And then it has an algorithm that will tell you at the end of that what the best solution is for you based out on the marketplace and at what cost. So it'll give you 100% of what you're asking for, and then it'll give you various options at lesser amounts depending on what you want to choose. And I really encourage you to use that. I've used it personally and I thought it was really slick, and I actually ended up changing streaming services because of it.
Thank you. Just to clarify, that is homeworks.org/streaming, not /MyBundle. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Mark in Stanton asked if you could provide an update on the overall ability to keep the power grid up with federal government restrictions and closures of coal burning power plants.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tremendous challenge. It's not only the new EPA regulations that got issued a matter of a week ago, I believe, but it's also the energy legislation in the state of Michigan of 2023. You have to consider that Michigan is very unique in that, one, it's a peninsula, two, that it imports 90% of the time, meaning it doesn't have enough generation to sustain its demand 90% of the time. And three, it only has limited transmission feeds by which to import, and typically those get maxed out during peak periods. If we take a position that we're going to retire baseload plants early without adequate, reliable energy sources during peak periods, we're setting ourselves up for a situation where we'll likely have rolling blackouts. And what I mean by that is that during those peak periods, we don't have the reserve margin that we did in yesteryear. And so what happens if a generator faults, goes into maintenance, or something happens to one of those transmission feeds? The likelihood of rolling blackouts is pretty high at this point.
All right, sort of a follow-up to that question, Jim in Shepherd asked if we are reliant on battery power in the future, will mandatory rationing of power be required?
So that's tough. It's tough to tell what's going to happen that far down the road. I will tell you that if we're going to have a chance of meeting our very ambitious goals of being 100% carbon free by 2040, technology and the evolution of technology specific to storage, whether that be battery or another technology that we develop, will play an important role. Because the renewables that are being suggested to replace a lot of the base load are variable in nature, and we need to be able to store that energy to be able to dispatch it during peak periods. So think peak times in the summer when it's the hottest and there's a lot of cooling load, and then especially peak times in the winter when folks are warming their homes, and a rolling blackout could risk life and limbs. So batteries will play an important role. Other storage methods will play an important role. We aren't yet there with the technology. It's not ready for prime time, as many of the other technologies that are evolving are not yet ready for prime time also.
All right, along those same lines, a couple members asked about the new clean energy legislation, which you just touched on. Catherine in Coral said she has concerns about the legislation and wondered where the co-op stands on it. And Michael in Lakeview asked what the co-op's plans are to meet the 100% clean energy by 2040 standard. He specifically asked about the costs associated with this and if the standard is even possible to achieve, which I know we've touched on a little bit. But could you expand on this, on the co-op's position related to the energy legislation?
Yeah, so first I'm going to handle the co-op's position on the energy legislation. The reality is that Michigan is constrained on supply today. So if we don't transition, whether a state or nationally, responsibly, we run the risk of two things. One, having unreliable energy, which can affect our economy drastically and in a negative way. Also, we run the risk of having energy become unaffordable because of a lot of the capital investment being passed along to ratepayers. So our position is that, these ideas of going carbon free are certainly noble, but the practicality of doing it in today's environment where the technology just isn't quite there, we need to be very responsible with how we do it. Meaning, if we're going to shut down baseload assets, that we have adequate clean energy assets that are dispatchable to replace those before we do so.
All right, thank you. Keeping with this clean and renewable energy theme, we've got another question. James and Ed Moore would like to know if there are any infrastructure or cabling challenges with so many wind and solar installations going in their area.
Yes, there are. I actually want to pause on that question. I want to handle is the co-op going to be able to meet the 2040 mandate first? Because I think that's one that maybe I skipped over, and it's an important one. Right now, consider that the co-ops are probably in the best position. Those that are part of Wolverine as the generation and transmission organization that we own 20% of as Homeworks, we are over 50% carbon free today. That's primarily through purchase power agreements that will expire in the near future. But with the Palisades purchase power agreement, should that come online, the co-ops will not have trouble that are part of Wolverine in meeting that standard by 2040, meaning as soon as that plant comes on, whether that be in late 25 or 26, we'll have the ability to meet those standards. And that is not the case for the majority of utilities throughout the state. As far as the issue of cabling and capacity on conductor throughout the state related to distributed energy resources, it's absolutely a question that is valid. And what you see over the course of the evolution of the electric grid in many states, especially Michigan, is that typically generators were located on the perimeter of the state near water sources. In the situation that we're seeing evolving, we're seeing more of these generators be located on farmland or in areas that are clear cut in the interior of the state, where maybe transmission ties and distribution capacities aren't what they are on the outside because traditionally they weren't needed in that way. And so, yes, there is going to be investment not only related to building the actual generators, but in upgrading the distribution and transmission networks to be able to handle that additional energy coming onto the network in various locations.
All right, thank you. That was a very thorough answer. On the other side of the coin related to this issue, Kathy and Ed Moore would like to know how the co-op or our members could benefit from the solar farms that are coming into Day Township.
So I'm a little unfamiliar with solar farms that are outside of our, Homeworks footprint. But generally, third-party generation entering Michigan's market is a good thing. And I say that only from the perspective of the facts. And the facts are 90% of the time, we can't cover the spread on our own demand needs in Michigan. So to the extent that we're adding additional generation in Michigan, that's a good thing because we're less dependent on external partners to import our energy that we need on a day-to-day basis. We also have to consider that those assets are variable in that they don't cover the most important times, which are the peaks, because we might not be able to store and dispatch that energy at the critical moments that's necessary. And that's where the evolution of technology needs to catch up.
All right. Robert in Lakeview asked why electric rates have gone up recently.
So it's a great question. And I think it's indicative of the times, meaning whether you're going to the grocery store, the gas pump, or you're going to a baseball game and getting a hot dog, the increases on nearly everything in the marketplace have gone up. And your co-op, especially the distribution level, is no different. Meaning we're seeing increases in contractor labor, we're seeing increases in material. What we saw since 2020 on the marketplace is 30 to 40% on many products as far as an increase in pricing because of inflation. And so in order to keep up with things like labor, material, insurances, et cetera, we have to increase our rates because at the end of the day, the co-op's not for profit. And all of our costs are passed along to our ratepayers through our rates.
Thank you. Jackie asked if it is possible to or allowed for low-income households to be exempt from contributing to the low-income energy fund.
Yeah, certainly a question we've been asked before, and it's something that I think is valid and logical. The response is we don't have control over that. And currently, you either opt in or you opt out of that program. I know that there is pending legislation that's being contemplated in Lansing on making the opt-out, opt-in go away. But if we participate as a utility, all of our member meters have to participate. We don't have the ability to pick and choose who do or don't participate.
All right. David in Lakeview says he wishes our internet rates for Homeworks Connect were cheaper. Could you try to talk about what goes into our internet rate planning and the value that we try to provide for our subscribers with Homeworks Connect?
Yeah, I also wish our energy rates and our broadband rates were cheaper. But the reality, again, is that we have to cover our costs. So the broadband business needs a certain amount of revenue in order to break even, in order to be viable to offer the service to our members. And, the cooperative is in the space to offer a service that otherwise for-profit entities wouldn't construct. And that's principally why in 2018, our board voted to move forward with this, because these are high cost, low density, undesirable areas for many organizations that are trying to make a profit. And your co-ops built this system out to you at a high cost, but we have to pass those costs along to you. And even though our rates are maybe higher than what you can get on some lower bandwidth packages, they're very competitive with the market. And we do a market assessment to make sure that we're shored up with that. So we're offering tremendous value in a space that is rural and has low density.
All right. Speaking of Homeworks Connect, Carol asked what specific redundancies were put in place after the big internet outage that we had earlier this year.
Love this question. I could go on for a long time on this. I will not do that for the interest of time, and folks probably want to hear the prizes, but I will tell you this. We've made investments in 3 different levels. One, we've invested in redundancy on the distribution network, meaning we're partnering with our power supplier, Wolverine, to utilize some of their optical ground wire to create redundancies on the distribution network so that if we lose certain lines, that we can simply shift traffic around to make that connection to you resilient. Also on our transport network, so think of the actual connectivity that gets us to the data centers. We had redundancy before into Chicago, and now we've created greater redundancy into a second geographically diverse data center. So 3 different layers of diversity: distribution, transport, And we have a geographically diverse data center, a second data center that we've added. Those all figure into those costs that we talked about earlier and what we need to package in those broadband rates.
Absolutely. So Tyler, this is switching gears a little bit. Tyler has a question about Tri-County Propane and the updated propane meter readers that he got a letter about to reduce our carbon footprint.
Mhm.
He is wondering if the meters are pretty accurate or if it's still better to just enter his usage online once a month.
I'm going to answer this two different ways. One, the monitors are accurate. That's why we've deployed them, and they are really helping us with efficiencies, meaning we're getting to locations that we need to fill when we need to fill them to increase efficiencies of the organization and control costs. Two, anytime that you're going on Smart Hub and you enter your meter reading is good. It keeps things as accurate as possible. In case there is some type of connectivity issue with that monitor, we have a meter reading handy to be able to bill you instead of estimating. So I'll answer that two different ways. The monitors are accurate, but it never hurts to enter your meter reading online.
Perfect. So sticking with propane, I believe this will be our last question unless something else comes up. Tina asks, is it possible to receive propane services within our service area, even if the property she owns there is not serviced by Homeworks Electric? It's her location is in Mecosta County.
Yeah, so we serve all of Mecosta County with our propane service, regardless of whether you're a Homeworks Electric member or not. So if you have a second home in another portion of Michigan that is a area that we service with our propane, then certainly we'll offer service at that spot.
All right, that is all of our questions.
Thank you so much for all the questions. If I didn't get to your question, please know that we've noted it and we'll contact you directly and follow up with you individually on your concern. To conclude, let me say thank you for your attendance at your virtual district meeting tonight. We look forward to seeing you at your park party in July.
All right, now it's time to reveal the final winning symbol on your scratch-off card and give away some big raffle prizes. For that, we'll pass it over to our Executive Assistant, Michelle Hoond, and our Employee and Member Engagement Manager, Angel McCliggett. Good luck.
Thank you, Casey and Chris. Okay, let's reveal the last symbol on your scratch-off cards. Grab your card and scratch off circle number 3 to see if it matches the symbol shown on the screen now, which is an internet globe with a mouse arrow.
Now that we have revealed all the sections, look to see if your card matches any of the symbols on the screen. If it matches one symbol, you win 1 free month of Homeworks Connect service or an equivalent bill credit. If it matches 2 sections, you win 3 free months. And if you are a lucky winner to match all 3 sections, you'll receive our grand prize of 6 free months of Homeworks Connect service.
That's awesome.
It does, it really is.
Just send your winning card into the address shown on the card by May 31st, and we'll apply your prize to your account. And if you're listening on the phone and you can't see the screen to see if your card matches our winners, you can just send it in to us and we will check to see if it's a winner for you. Congrats to all of our winners.
Okay, moving on to our raffle drawings, because we know that's your favorite part.
That's right.
We have randomly selected our prize winners tonight from the list of those who are in attendance this evening. So let's get started.
Okay, the first prize we're going to give away this evening are $25 bill credits. We're going to give away 4 of those this evening. Our first winner of a $25 bill credit is Holly Huff. Second winner is Aaron Ayola. I hope I said that correctly. I'm sorry if I didn't.
That's questionable.
The next prize winner is for Kathleen Gibson and Susan Young. I know those are right.
Those were easy ones. All right, 2 $50 bill credits is next for Lindsay Eckard and Catherine Hearns Huntley.
I think that's right.
Sounds right.
Yeah, it does.
If not, we gave her a new name.
Yes. Our next prize we're going to give away this evening is a grilling accessory kit for all that grilling people are going to do this summer.
I can't wait to grill.
Me either. The winner of that is for Gerald Kelly.
And next up, we have an Amazon Echo Show for Edwin Hansen.
Next, we have a Sony compact wireless speaker. You can take that anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yes. And the winner of that is Nicole Brown.
And then we have wireless noise canceling earbud.
Earbuds.
We're gonna go with, earbuds on this one. And that's Dakota Jennings.
Next, to go along with our grilling, we're going to have a smokeless indoor grill. If you don't want to go outdoors and grill, you can grill indoors.
I love grilling either way.
Yes. And the winner of the indoor grill is for Laura Lee Parcher.
Okay, and next up, we have a Bluetooth meat thermometer for Mike Waite.
And to go along with grilling, we also have a cooler, a 20-pack backpack cooler. And the winner of that is James Wilson.
And then our favorite prize this year is the wood fire pizza oven. And that winner is Penelope DeShaw. And Penelope, make sure you let us know how that works for you.
Yes, definitely. So in honor of 25 years of Homeworks Tri-County Propane, we're giving away a 20-pound propane cylinder that can go on any grill. The winner of that is Samantha Butt.
And then keeping with our purchasing local, we have 2 gift certificates from local businesses. The first one is a $50 gift card to Farm Country Cheese in Lakeview for Kristen Bush.
And we also have a $50 gift card to Leona's Restaurant in Vestaburg. And that winner is Frank Tater.
All right. And that's it for our prizes this evening. Thank you so much for attending, and we hope you enjoyed your district meeting. If you want a bill credit this evening, it will be placed on your account in the coming days. If you want a gift card, we will mail it to you. And if you want another prize, we will be calling you to make plans to get it to you.
Thank you all for attending. Have a good night.
Have a good night.